G'day and welcome to the Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Graham Solomon, and as per usual, I want you to hit the like and the love button to welcome our guests and give them some love and make it feel warm and fuzzy. And go to the Graham Solomon Thunder from Down Under YouTube channel, belt that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so when we go live, you can be notified and jump straight in. Now, guys, I've got a special guest today, and that is Martine Richardson. She is a buy and hold investor, a coach and a mentor, and she is going to come on and tell us how to build a portfolio of buy and hold real estate using other people's money. So not using your own money, and she's got some really good tips and tricks. She's been doing this for 10 years. She's in Richmond, Virginia, so she works those markets really well. So she's coming in to tell us how she did it and to give us some tips and encourage you guys to start keeping some of your properties and building some long-term wealth. So welcome, Martine. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to adding some value to your audience.
Awesome. Now, what I want you to do, Martine, is just tell us how you got into this crazy world of real estate. You've been in it for about 10 years. What were you doing before it? And then how did you transition into real estate, and what made you get into real estate?
Right. So before I did real estate, I was a financial analyst at a private equity firm. And that sounds like a great job, but I hated it. So my story is, work jobs all my teenage years. And I always hated the jobs. And I thought, once I go to college, get my degree, I'm going to get a job and I'm going to love it. Grass is greener on the other side. Anyway, I went to college, got the degree, got the job, and still hated it. It sucked. Like I didn't have the time freedom I wanted. I wasn't making as much as I wanted. Yes, at that time, I was making the most I had ever made, but I thought by the time I graduated from college, I was going to be like balling. I was like, yes, this is the holy grail. I'm about to be killing it. And it was just not that. I ended up getting fired from that job. I guess they knew I didn't like it either. My dad, he told me that he was like, I noticed the entrepreneur bug in you. I think that you ought to get into real estate. And I'm like, well, how am I going to get into real estate? Like, I don't have any money. I don't know anybody successful at it. Like, nobody I know does this. So how am I going to do this? And he's just like, well, you're smart. You'll figure it out. And I was like, all right, if you say so. So when I got fired, let me just take a step back. I moved to the DC area, which is about 2 hours away from Richmond, because those were the only places that you would get a decent salary for my degree. And my advisor had told me to do that. But anyway, when I got fired, I moved back to Richmond, and I was living with my aunt at the time. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I tried to meet up with people that they weren't necessarily at the goal, but they were all hungry. We were all around the same age. We were hungry. We were just feeding each other with different types of things that help us get to the next level. And someone gave me a book, and it was called How to Quit Your Job in 19 Weeks by Sean Terry. And I read the book, and I was like, well, it sounds nice. In the book, he talks about wholesale, and I said, that sounds nice, but I didn't really take any action on it. Well, when I had started working that job that I got right after college, I had bought a car. And I remember when I got fired, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to afford this car? Because I had a car payment. So years down the road, I was able to keep it up somehow, but that car ended up getting repossessed. And when they took the car, the next day, I took real estate seriously. I said, well, he said I could just, get something under contract and, sell the contract and make some money. And that was just me like learning more about it. And, I tried for a long time to try to like figure it out. And I was like, how are people doing this? Like, it took me a while. It took me 2 years to get a deal. But when I got a deal, I got 5 of them under contract. So it was a drought and then it started raining. So what really helped me to really understand like how to get this going is that I consistently listened to podcasts and I would listen to what people were doing. And then I decided that I was going to stay consistent until it started working for me. Cause I'm like, there's no way all these people are lying. Like everybody's saying they're making money from real estate. It has to work. And then also I tapped into the meetup groups in my area. Because at those meetup groups, there were people that were already successful in what I wanted to do. So it showed me proof that, hey, this can be done. So I'd say that that's how I got started. And that's how I became successful, by just hanging around those people and listening to podcasts. And I just kept going on the journey and just kept getting better and better.
And so you did start with wholesaling. That was your first initial thing, was to get something on a contract, find a buyer, move it that way. I just want to back for a minute. Like, did you say that your dad told you to get into real estate? Isn't it usually the other way? You say that, and your parents say, "Oh no, what are you doing? You're leaving your job." So you had you had the opposite.
I did have the opposite. So my dad, he has a really entrepreneur spirit in terms of people may look at something and think it's junk, and he'll say, well, how can I make this so people would want it? So that's how he thinks. And he noticed that I have that in me too. And that's probably why I was so miserable at the jobs, because I couldn't express my entrepreneur bug as much as I would have wanted. So yeah, he was like, oh, you're smart, you figure it out. And I mean, he was right. I did.
And when you first got into it and you sort of had that time, and I mean, I know you're probably a little bit stressed out because you lost the car and you're thinking, oh, I've got to get into this, and got a couple of deals. When you first got into it, and there was no clock and you had your own time frames, did you feel that? Did you feel that release from the 9 to 5 grind into, wow, this could be, if I can make money out of this is the lifestyle for me?
Well, no, I felt the pressure because I needed some money. I had bills I needed to pay. And I mean, I'm very grateful and thankful my aunt let me stay with her, because I might have been homeless. But I felt pressure. I was like, I gotta make some money somehow. And it took a while for it to start working for me. So like I started working jobs in between of me like trying to get the deals because I needed some money. So like I remember my best friend and she had just got her master's degree at the time, and she couldn't find a job either. And like we were like so low that we were like, man, I heard they're hiring at Amazon. Like we're about to go work at the warehouse because we need to make some money. So we, I worked some jobs until I became successful in real estate, but I never really liked it. I only did it because I needed some money.
Some money, yeah. And you've done some wholesaling deals. What made you sort of go across into buy and hold? What was the big trigger that made you look at buy and hold instead of staying in wholesaling like a lot of people do?
Right. So that's a great question. I totally became a buy and hold investor by accident.
Yeah.
So the reason I became by accident is because every time I would go into someone's house, well, a seller, I would say, hey, do you want the cash offer or would you take payments? And most people, they always say cash offer. Why would I take payments? It's crazy, right? But one guy told me, he was like, I'll take the payments. And in my head, I'm like, you'll take the payments. Nobody takes the payments. So I was like, well, let me see how I want to structure this. And then I'll, get back to you with how that would look. And what I really meant was I got to figure out how to do this. Nobody ever said they would take the payments. So I went to a meetup. I said, hey guys, I went in a house and they said they'll take a payment. Can y'all help me structure the deal? So they helped me structure the deal. I went back to them. We negotiated a little bit. and I did a lease with the option to purchase on this property.
Yeah.
And I still own this property. And this is the power of buy and hold. This property, the option to buy was $35,000. And at the time, 35 was a lot for this neighborhood. This house right now, $140,000.
Nice.
That's the power of buy and hold. This is why, although I started with wholesaling, if I could do it all over again, I would have started with buying and holding, because you are building wealth for your family instead of transferring that wealth to another person's family. And I would have been, I'm doing well. I will say that I'm doing well, but I would have just had so much more if I wouldn't have wholesaled all of it. So now my stance is wholesaling sucks. And I think the reason that I'm feeling this way now is because back then I thought I had to wholesale. And a lot of people might feel like they have to wholesale, but you don't. You can use other people's money to buy these properties. By getting that house, getting that guy to take payments for the house, and we got into that agreement, I started getting checks for that house long after I did the work. And it just had me thinking like, how do I get more of these? And it just sent me down a spiral of figuring out how can I do this. And I figured out that you can use other people's money to buy the properties. You don't even have to use your own money. If you're good at finding deals, you definitely can use someone else's money to pay for those properties and those repairs.
So it's the same strategy as wholesaling, as in you're looking for discounted properties, but then obviously, like with that one, you used a lease option. Did you use any other creative ways to get properties like sub twos or anything like that? Or finance?
Yes, I've done subject to the existing mortgage on some deals. But I'd say right now my bread and butter is just getting those properties at a discount and using someone else's money to take them down and do what I need to do.
All right. Well, then I think everyone's probably interested. We want to know the nitty-gritty. When you say using someone else's money, what do you mean by that?
So basically, us as real estate investors, everyone knows that all investment deals start with you actually getting a deal. You need to get a house at a discount. So by having that power to be able to get those houses, you're actually doing people a disservice if you're not sharing how you can help them participate in your deals so they can make a better return backed by real estate. So what I found when I first started, and I still do this, but when I first started with the buying and holds using other people's money, I found that people could roll their retirement accounts into self-directed accounts where then they could invest in other things other than stocks and bonds or mutual, whatever your company sells, because that's pretty much what they sell. Like if you have Fidelity, you only can direct it into things that they sell. Yeah. But you can you can roll it over into a self-directed account that allows you to invest in things like businesses, real estate, and other things too. But I was using it for the purposes of real estate. So when I buy a deal, I want to be all in 70% of the after repair value. And that's me, buying it, fixing it up, any closing costs. I want all of that to be less than 70%. Because if I'm able to do that, I'm putting people's money in a very safe position. So what people really care about when you're using their money is, one, what type of returns are you looking at? So usually I like to start with, somewhere between 8 to 10%, depending on where they are. Like if they're saying, oh man, I'm getting crazy returns. And then let's say they were getting, 9% or something like that. And I'm saying, well, I can offer you 8. They're probably like, no way, I'm not interested in that. You got to offer them something that they would want to do. And then 2, you let them know that their money is secured because it's in first lien position on a property you bought at a discount. So the property is actually worth more than what they lent you on for the property. So in theory, if they were to foreclose on you, and I know nobody wants to do that, but if the worst case scenario, they had to foreclose this property, then you should be making more money taking the property from me than if I do what I say I'm going to do. So I feel like that's some really good security for people.
Yeah.
And then 3, you have to they want to know how are they going to get their money back. Okay, yes, you're going to put their money into real estate and you're going to do these, fix it up, get a tenant in there, get it stabilized, but how am I going to get my money back? So what I like to do is I usually refinance these properties into debt service, the DSCR loans, so the debt service coverage ratio loans. And basically, as long as your credit is decent and the property can support itself, meaning I think usually it's about your rent needs to be about 20% more than what the expenses are going to be on the property. But as long as it can support itself, you can refinance your property 75% of what it's worth. And that allows you to give your investor their money back with, you just gave them a great return. So that's pretty much my bread and butter. And that's how I built my portfolio. And I like to always tell people that I bought my freedom using other people's money, and it gets the convo going because they're like, how? So that, I mean, in a nutshell, that's how we pretty much run the buy and hold business.
So when you'd obviously have a bit of a elevator pitch for people, and it would be, hey, would you like to come in and partner on my deals and make them feel like a part of the team and all that sort of stuff. So you'd reach out to people and try and get people to come in, because obviously the more partners, investors you got, the more properties you can go after, isn't it? Especially if you've already spoke to them and you've already done deals with them before, and they've and I guess the person you're looking for is someone that is they've got a really good job, they've got a good income, they're too busy, but they really like real estate and they want some returns at a certain percentage, and you just pop right in there with the elevator pitch and pick them up. So is that pretty close to the mark of what you do? You just
pretty much. A lot of the people, I'm meeting them at networking events, or sometimes because I'm prospecting for deals so much, I'll meet people that I'm seeing if they want to sell a property and they turn out to be a lender. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, a lot of these older landlords that a lot of their properties are paid off and maybe they still want to keep them. A lot of the times they're sitting on a lot of cash and they're not making the types of returns that they would have wanted to make. And here I am, a deal maker that can help you make a better return. Look at God. So I think it's just letting people know what you do and how you can help them with what they're trying to do. And like, a lot of the times I'm not really pitching people, just to be honest with you. I'm not saying, hey, come work with me. I'm more so finding out what they have going on, and I'm seeing how I can help. And then I'll just mention that this is what I do and I can help you get a better return. And if they're interested in that, they'll be like, tell me more. But I think the secret sauce really is educating people on how they can get a better return, how their money is secure, how they're going to get it back. You just have to be able to educate them. And then, of course, they have to know, like, and trust you. And you have to know what you're doing. You don't want to be putting other people's money at risk. You want to make sure that you know that you can do what you said you're going to do to be able to get them the return they want, but then also to get them the money that you can get them their money back.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you actually go out looking for properties, I mean, you've been doing it for a while now, but what's been your most successful, say, one or two forms of marketing? What do you find the best to be able to get
So for me, well, I'll say before I say what works for me best, whatever you decide that you want to do, as long as you stay consistent, you will get deals. I will say that. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get that snowball rolling, but as long as you're consistent, you will get deals. For me, at this moment, my best sort of marketing is referrals. Basically, everybody knows what Martine does. So because everybody knows what Martine does, when they come across these properties, they let Martine know. So it's like I have trained, in a sense, people that if they see a distressed property, especially if it's an ugly one in a nice neighborhood, that they will send me the information because they know that that's what I do. They know I fix the ugly ones up and I rent them out. So they'll send them to me. And then like likewise, whatever they're looking for, I'll send it to them as well. So I've just developed really good relationships with people that now they send me the deals. But if you were to look at it on its face, the deals they're sending me are the deals you would see if you were like driving for dollars. It's just
Yep.
that I have cut out the hours of me driving for dollars. I have other people doing it for me.
Yeah.
And I just look the people up and we make a deal. If they want to sell, we make a deal.
Have you ever used realtors or had connections with realtors that have said, "Look, I can't list this; it's a bit ugly."
Mm-hmm.
Martine, I know that's what you do, and vice versa. Do you flick them deals that are probably a bit out of your range? Is that
Yes, of
something else?
course.
Yep.
Of course. I mean, so for realtors, I've had realtors, they'll send me pocket listings. They'll send me stuff that like, oh, it's a tenant already in it. I don't think we want to list this one, having people going through the property. Could you send us an offer? And that's worked well. I love working with realtors, but I think I love working with the investor friendly ones because some aren't
Yeah.
investor friendly, and that's okay. They're in their world. I'm in my world. I
Yeah.
work with the ones that love working with investors. And in turn, when I get something, I'm like, that's not really going to work for me. I'll send it to them so they can list it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So you've got a good thing going on there. You've got all people bringing you deals. I mean, obviously, it takes time
Mhm.
to build that, doesn't it? You can't just have that
Yeah,
straight away. You've got to build
it,
it up.
ta- it takes time. I will give people a secret sauce in terms of getting people, like, if you want to build a relationship faster. I found that the best way to build a relationship faster is go to lunch with people.
Mm.
It's you eat your food and all those endorphins are in you making you feel good, and then like you guys are just sharing information. Nobody's really wanting anything. It's just
Mm.
that, hey, how can I add value to you? What are you looking for? Who can I connect you with? Trying to help people, and then you just mentioning what you do in case you come across it. What I've learned is giving and receiving is like breathing in and out. You can't give, and never receive. So if you're out here and you're giving people what they're looking for, even if it doesn't come from that person, you're going to start getting the things that you want. And it's called the law of reciprocity. And it's just like breathing. You're not going to just breathe out, 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 exhale, 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 and no inhale, you die.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's very similar.
Yeah. Exactly. And the next question I was going to ask was, how, like, do you use any? I mean, I know that you've said that you sort of do them up and rent them out. Do you pick up
Mhm.
seller finance deals as well and stuff like that? Like, are you open to everything, or have you sort of gone down one lane now? Now that you've been doing it for a while?
I'd say I'm open to doing other things. In terms of seller finance, I have done a couple of seller finance deals. Um, Most of the seller finance deals that I've personally done, like the when I look back at it, I would prefer to just use somebody else's money to buy it because I get it at a cheaper price.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the seller finance deals, the reason I would even offer that to them is because they want too much, usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I prefer to get it lower, as low as possible, and use somebody else's money because then it's cleaner. We get people out the deal. And like I've said, I've done subject to, I've done lease option. I just prefer to do it this way
Yep.
because I'm working with people that I have great relationships with. And you don't have to work with everybody. You can just work with the people that you guys speak the same language,
Yeah.
and that works really well for me.
And let's say somebody's watching this podcast from California and they say, "Listen, I'm a dentist. I've got this big surgery. I'm just too busy," and they ring you up and they seem
Hmm.
like a fit. You'd be happy to work with people because they're just, obviously investing some money.
Yeah,
You'd do that. You'd sort of probably could. You'd have
of
to have
course.
a virtual lunch. You have to sit down for a virtual lunch and talk to
Right.
them.
We'll sit, have Zoom, have virtual lunch, and I'll show you exactly how I run my business and how you're going to get your money in returns and how you're going to get it back and all that good stuff. How it's secure. You don't send anything to me, you send it straight to the attorney.
Mm.
And yeah, and then once we have built that and someone has expressed interest, I start sending deals to them. And
Yeah.
then when they're ready, they'll bite.
Yeah, no, it's great. And even like international, some people are watching in Australia and they say, wow, how do I get into this? How do I? So, yeah, I mean, the world's your oyster, isn't it? As you've been in it 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
but if you keep moving forward, there's probably going to be more and more people reach out to you because success attracts, success, doesn't it? Like
That's
people see that you've been around, that you're proven, and then all of a sudden they start seeking you. So, um, the other thing I was going to ask also was, um, have you ever thought about expanding out of the area, or you're just quite happy knowing your market and staying in your market?
I really just like this market. We just have a lot of opportunity here. And I like that if I couldn't find a boots on the ground person, I could do it. I just like that possibility. I've just noticed so I've seen the Richmond market like change drastically. Like I don't know if it was like fate or something, but it just seemed like it just rapidly increased when I joined, which was amazing. Like when I started doing real estate. And then now I'm seeing it with other markets that are close by. Like there's this market that's not too far from us, Petersburg. And it has been like run down, looking bad for like decades, really. And like people are like, well, it's no way to go up. And it's like, yeah, whatever. But now we're finally seeing jobs come into that area. We see that the values are going up. People are wanting to fix up places in there. Like it seems like the government is being cooperative with that. So like I think that personally in this area, I have a lot of opportunities. Now, when the opportunities seem to, kind of dwindle, maybe I would go out. But right now it's going great. So I'm staying.
And what about like when you're coaching new people and that? Do you coach people outside of the area? I know you said you do a lot of meetups.
Yes,
So
I
if
do.
someone's in let's say Mississippi or something, and they've got a good
Hmm.
market, you coach them in their market. Do you ever partner up with them and say, look, if they say to you, look,
Yeah.
I'm really inexperienced, can you come and sort of help me with this?
I,
Uh,
yes, I have. I have partnered up with people that aren't in the area. I mean, the same rules apply whether you're close or if you're far. It's just that the only difference really is that you need to have some boots on the ground. You need somebody
yeah,
you can trust.
yeah,
And a lot of the times, what I found is because I've done a little bit of virtual stuff. It's not my preference, but I have done it. You usually what I found is that if you can find a really investor friendly realtor, they are great for boots on the ground, making sure things are getting done. And I mean, you can decide that what that compensation looks like to help them and stuff like that. But I've noticed that most of the time when I've done things in virtual markets, if I can get like a realtor that could be the boots on the ground, it's really helpful for me because first their code of ethics, so you know that they're going to be telling you the truth in terms of things, and then like they probably already built a network of people that you could use for your properties. So like if you need like a construction crew, you need an electrician, you need this, they probably already know them. So it's just really helpful to find somebody that has the experience that you can trust.
yeah, exactly. And sort of being virtual myself from another country, I've got to know a lot of people in the States in the real estate business.
Mm-hmm.
And what you seem to find is people like yourself that specialize in a market and they've got construction. So
Mm-hmm.
that's actually another thing people can do as well is they can, they might find 3 or 4 or 5 people in different states, and you can
Mm-hmm.
work with those people. You can work with those people
Right.
if they've got the time, because like yourself, sometimes you're that busy that you probably couldn't do extra stuff. But
Right.
that's another way to partner up with people and say, with what you do, like
Right.
um,
Well, I'd say if people are in, like, let's say they have a deal in Richmond and you need help, I absolutely would partner with you.
yeah,
And if I didn't have the time, I would refer you to someone that could help you here because I know
yeah,
all the network here.
yeah. So you like that's what I'm sort of getting at. You're a valuable resource. You know
Mm-hmm.
realtors, construction people, title,
Mm-hmm.
attorney, all that sort of stuff. So um, that's why you need to network. That's why you got to get to know people. And like you said, one of the first things you got to do is like, all right, how do I add value to you? I mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to add value to you, because there's no point me just jumping in and saying, I want you to do this for me. It's got to be a mutual.
Right.
Networking has to be
Yeah.
mutual, doesn't it?
I've noticed that like a lot of people, I'd say they could use a little improvement in networking. Meaning that a lot of people come in and they just want to know what can they get out of it? What's in
Yeah,
it for me? And that's not the right mindset. The right mindset, in my opinion, is to see how you can help others. What do they need? How can you add value to them? And then a lot of the times, if you're newer, you're like, well, how am I going to add value to someone? I'm just starting. I don't know anybody. You can add value with your time. You can help them and do some work for them for free. Maybe they need somebody to manage a project for them, and maybe you can help offer that for free, because you're going to learn so much in that process and you're going to help free up their time. So, when you're networking with people, I just like to keep in mind, how can I help you? What do you need help with? Who can I connect you with? How can I add value to you? And I think that really helps you stand out, because people don't ask those questions. They ask, well, what can you do for me? They might not say it specifically like that, but the questions are tailored to help me, help me. I don't really care about helping you. So yeah,
yeah, that's
stand
true.
out, help other people.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And don't keep score. Just pay it forward and just keep that positive
Right.
attitude. But yeah, no, that's really interesting, because a lot of people I interview, they talk about the power of networking. Networking is a really big tool, more so than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 2018, 2019, like just before COVID come in. Everyone seemed to just keep to themselves. Wholesalers would do everything themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't, I'm not sharing with you. Now, and realtors and wholesalers were like, had a Mexican standoff. They didn't like each other. Now everyone's sort of working together. And like you said, you can go and if you're good on the phones and you're good with people, you can go and work with other people. You
Mm-hmm.
can do a lot of their cold calling. You can do a lot of their
Right.
acquisitions. You can do that stuff. And start off like that, and add some
Mm-hmm.
value to someone. Um,
So I want to mention one thing that someone did with me that got my attention. So I had a meetup at one point. It was before COVID, and it was someone that came to that meetup that they wanted to work with me, but I was uninterested. I wasn't coaching at the time. I was just like, I'm working. I'm focusing on what I'm doing. The way that they added value to me is they came to me with a deal. They got my attention then we started making some money together. If
mm,
you really want to get someone's attention, bring them a deal. And I mean a real deal, not come with, something that, oh, I got this, I'm thinking about putting it under contract. Come with a real deal. Know your numbers, and you're going to definitely get those people's attention.
yeah, or if you're brand new, try for dollars, get some addresses, put some notes in that, and then
Mm-hmm.
when you get some action, come and see yourself. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
definitely. That's the way to go. And did you have any mentors along the way, or did you basically learn it all yourself?
Oh no, I had plenty of mentors along the way. I remember when I first started, I went to an auction and I just was like very nervous. I was scared, I was like, I don't know anything, and these people are so smart and they have so much money. But I just started like talking to people, trying to get their experience. And I wouldn't say the first contact. I got this guy to agree to be my mentor, but I got a local guy that he agreed to be my mentor later on when he saw that I was serious. And then, but he's not like a big mentor. But anyway, he had been doing it for a long time. And then like guys like Jim Ingersoll, he's local in the Richmond area. He has like a coaching program as well, and he helped me a ton, especially with like learning how to get the money for the deals.
Yep.
People like Daniel Clayman have helped me a lot. People like Tom Kroll have helped me a lot. I know, like when I first started wholesaling, Tom Kroll, he had a podcast, Wholesaling Inc., and I think it's still going.
Mm.
But he would tell you exactly what to do on that podcast, and I just did those things, and that's why I got those 5 deals when I got those 5 deals at the beginning. And then later on, I actually joined his coaching program. And by joining his coaching program, yeah, I was getting deals before, but then the spreads were bigger. Like, whereas an average spread before might have been about $5,000, I'm joining the coaching program, and now it's $20,000, $40,000. Like, I'm getting way bigger amounts. So like, I'd say that those are the people that really poured into me a lot and really helped me to learn what I have learned so far in real estate.
Yeah. And I checked out your social media and that, and you do a lot of videos, and you get on the job
Uh-huh.
on the site and the house, and you go through it. Do you use Facebook and stuff like that to attract people, like to get stuff out there? Like,
I'd say yes, I have used Facebook for networking, and I mean, I guess in a sense it has attracted people. But I'd say for the videos, those are a bit newer. And it's more to just, get the word out of like what I'm doing, educate people on certain aspects of a job. So I'd say that they are in process of attracting more people. But I have used Facebook in general as a way to network. Like, when I'm on Facebook, I'm not just scrolling and just, I have a good time. I laugh at the jokes and stuff like that. But
yeah,
like, I'm making let's sit down and have a meeting. Let
yeah.
me find out more about your business. I'm making business moves on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I had a look through, and yeah, you've got even some of your networking group in there, and you've got, it's good because you walk people through the projects that you're doing, and the big question is, what are you going to get against wholesalers? You keep saying you don't need to wholesale, and I'm thinking wholesalers will be saying, "Oh, really?" Because
Wholesaling sucks.
yeah,
But the
you really,
reason I think, but yeah, I have a pretty big stance on it. I know people are like, "Oh, you used to wholesale. If I were to do it again, I would have did buy and hold from the jump." But I think the message I'm trying to really get out there is that I feel a lot of people wholesale because they think they need to use their own money to buy these properties and keep them, when you do not have to do that. You can use someone else's money and you can start holding now. You don't have to wait. The best time to buy real estate was yesterday. The second best time is today. So it's not you wait to and buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. Let the asset do the work for you. I just feel like people are working harder than what they need to be working to attain the type of wealth that they're looking to get. And so
do you have any?
I'm anti-wholesale.
You try and get wholesalers to bring you deals, like if they've got them at a really good price.
Yeah, I love wholesalers when you bring me a deal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
But
say.
I think in terms of building your portfolio and growing wealth for you and your family, I'm really adamant on buy and hold. I know a lot of people say, well, tenants suck, but it's just that you need to know how to screen people to get ideal tenants, so that these can be little money making machines instead of little money making headaches. So it's just that if you know all the steps of what needs to be done, buying and holding is a very simple business. If you are fixing up these houses, so that one thing that I strive for is maintenance free for 5 years. So people aren't calling me about a lot of maintenance issues because we already fixed it. If it looked like it was about to go, we fixed it. We didn't, we're not chancing it. So it's just that you have to give a really quality product, get a real quality tenant. And this thing can just it could take off and, grow your net worth, grow, leave a legacy for your family, and then while giving you passive cash flow. Like, if I wanted to sit around and do nothing, I could. I don't want to, though. This is exciting. I want to help other people. I want other people to build what I've built, or even do bigger things than what I've done. So it's just, to me, it's a lot smarter. Like, why are we working so hard? You need to work smarter. Because just think of how big your portfolio could have been if you would have kept every deal you wholesaled. Well, so I think of it like that.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So you're coaching now, so people can actually come and learn how to fast track their, by using other people's money. They can come and work with you and learn all this sort of stuff. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Like,
Sure. So yeah, I'm taking on a few one-on-one clients right now, and pretty much hand holding them every step of the way, showing them how to find the deals, how to get the money for the deals, how to go through that project management process, and how to vet the tenant. Like pretty much getting them to the point where they are cash flowing, and
Yeah,
then from there they take that process and they run with it because you can keep doing it over and over and over again to get a portfolio as big as you want it to be. And for anybody that is interested in, learning a little bit more, or you just need a little help, I want to help people in any way that I can. You can text me. My number is 804-495-1333. Yeah, just feel free to text me. I don't have a big sales team behind me, so I'm not going to have somebody else looking at your message. It's going to be really me looking at your message. And once I'm going to do one-on-one, and then later on, we're going to roll out some small group coaching for
yeah,
people that might be more interested in that in the group setting. But right now, we're doing the one-on-one, and it's going well. And I'm excited to see people's lives change just like mine was.
yeah, yeah. And I'm sure you're passionate about that because, like you said,
Hmm.
you've done the hard yards. You've improved your life. You're building a legacy, and you
Hmm.
want to. I'm sure you're passionate about showing other people to do that because um, most people that do well in real estate want to go back to the grassroots and show other people because yeah, it's all you got to do is just follow the system that you've done
Right.
and I suppose probably the thing is like you've got all the safety nets, all the things to
Right.
protect yourself because you've actually got to where you are without you know having a blowout or
Right.
whatever.
Right. Because, life you learn the most, in my opinion, is from experiences, but they don't necessarily have to be your experiences.
Mm.
So learn from my mistakes so you don't have to go through those things. I've already perfected how to do this, and go from there and get straight to it instead of having to wait and going through lots of bumps and bruises, where that's kind of how my trajectory went because I was trying to figure it out. But if somebody's already figured it out, then that's a valuable asset to someone else so that you could just go from the system that has already been figured out.
And you've got a Facebook group as well. Do you want to just give the
I
Facebook
do.
group a
Yes.
plug? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a free Facebook group. It's all buy and hold investors or people that are looking to get into buy and hold. It's a community of all of us empowering each other so that we can, stay the course, buy and hold, shiny object syndrome. You'll be wanting to do buy and hold today and say, oh, flipping this, that, something else. We're going to stick with buy and hold. We're going to stay focused until we hit our goals. So if you're interested in being a part of that community, it's totally free. You just have to answer like 3 questions. You give your name, your email, and if you're interested in buy and hold, or if you're already doing it. And we'd love to have you in the group. It's the group is facebook.com/groups/the Freedom Inc. Or you can just go on the search button and put the Freedom Inc. and it should come up, and just click to join and answer the questions and we'll let you in. We'd be happy to have you.
Yep. So to anyone in the audience, it's actually underneath Martine's name, just in the graphics there. So you can always go back and check that out. Rewind and send her a text as well, because I mean that's a pretty good offer to be able to text her direct. But I always find that's
Mm-hmm.
the best way to go. Join somebody's Facebook group, free Facebook group. Get in there, get to know what's going on. There's no obligation. I just joined before. I hit it before, and I think I've been approved. So I'm gonna get jump in and have a good look. And yeah, I recommend people to get into it because just before we jumped on, I said like in Australia, pretty much all you can do is buy and hold. So buy and hold's big over
Mm-hmm.
here. We don't have wholesaling. We don't have creative finance. We don't have all that sort of stuff. So you got to go to the bank, borrow the money, and then build a portfolio. So we love portfolios and we love doing that. So I know wholesaling is pretty big in the States, but like you say,
Mm-hmm.
Martine, keep some of them. Even if you wholesale a couple of them, just keep some of them and just build your wealth long term. So, no, that's awesome. I appreciate you coming on. I had some other questions, but we've sort of hit time. And guys, jump in the Facebook group, shoot Martine a text. Um, just the last question: where do you think the market's heading in the next couple of years? Where there's been, I reckon 5 years have been saying, "Oh, doom and gloom," and it's just kept accelerating. Is it going to have a correction, or do you think it may just flatten out and just keep cruising along?
I think, I mean, from what I've seen, because of supply and demand, I'm not sure how it is in Australia, but here in my local market, we still have a supply issue. We don't
Yeah,
have enough properties for the people that are demanding properties. So as long as that's still going on, I think that the market will continue to cruise up. And like people think, interest rates, that's going to really affect things. And what I found here is that the interest rates haven't really affected much. People are still buying. I mean, you might get fewer offers if you were to sell something, but I mean, you're still getting full price above asking, which is insane, to be honest with you,
yeah,
especially because I've seen the market go up so much. But I think as long as we have that supply issue and people are still demanding the product that we don't have enough of, that the market will stay where it is. That's just my personal opinion.
yeah. People need somewhere to live, don't they?
I
People need
know.
somewhere
It's
to live.
like a
So,
basic necessity of
yeah, that's
life.
right. That's right. All right. Well, thanks, Martine. I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your time with us. And like I said, jump in the Facebook group, guys. And Martina, look, I'm in the Facebook group, so I'd like to learn more and find out more. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, you're sort of going against the grain of what a lot of real estate people have been doing for the last 5-10 years. So good on you.
Mhm.
And, keep building generational wealth and keep teaching other people how to do it, because it's a great thing. It's very inspiring.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. I really do appreciate it. I hope your listeners were able to, get some value from what I'm saying. I want to challenge people that have listened to this podcast to go take some action on something that we mentioned today so you can build wealth for yourself and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, no worries. Well, we'll go, Martina. Thanks for everything. And all right, guys, we will see you later. Go and watch this on YouTube, the replay on YouTube. Grab the phone number, grab the Facebook group, and take some action. That's what Martine said. Take some action and get into it. Get into it. Enjoy it. Start meeting some people and start investing in real estate. Okay, that's it from us. We're checking out. Okay, thanks, Martine.